message for Mr. Iger. I know, sir, that you look through things through a different lens. We don't expect you to understand who we are. We will not have you take away our right to work and earn a decent living. But we ask you to hear us, and beyond that, to listen to us when we tell you we will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots. We will not allow you to take away our dignity.
When was it ever great in America for the African American? That's the question Bryan Cranston just slapped Trump with, and Donnie is definitely furious. The Breaking Bad star didn't just criticize Trump, he compared America's refusal to teach critical race theory to Germany's complete opposite approach with its Nazi history. Imagine Walter White transforming from a chemistry teacher to the guy teaching America about its racist past. Cranston basically said Trump's entire political brand is built on nostalgic racism, and he did it with the calm delivery of a high school history teacher. You won't believe how thoroughly he exposes the ugly truth behind MAGA. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember when Walter White was just cooking meth in an RV? Well, Bryan Cranston is cooking up something way more explosive these days. A total takedown of Trump's favorite catchphrase. The man who played Heisenberg isn't just knocking on doors. He's kicking down Trump's entire MAGA fantasy.
When you look at the political discourse in our country today and the role that media plays in it, what do you think?
You know, this conversation I had with Bill, we're talking about critical race theory, and I think it's imperative that it's taught, that we look at our history. When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that could possibly be construed as a racist remark?
When Cranston appeared on CNN, he didn't mess around with his criticism. He went straight for the jugular of Trump's whole Make America Great Again slogan with one simple but devastating question. When was America great for black people? For women? Talk about a mic drop moment. This wasn't just some random celebrity hot take. This was Cranston systematically dismantling the nostalgic fantasy at the core of Trumpism. The Breaking Bad star pointed out what MAGA fans don't want to admit, that this slogan basically asks us to go back to some magical time that wasn't actually magical for huge chunks of Americans. When exactly was America great for black Americans? During slavery, Jim Crow, the 1960s with fire hoses and police dogs. Cranston's question exposes the huge blind spot in Trump's vision of a perfect American past that never really existed. But Heisenberg wasn't finished cooking. Cranston straight up called the MAGA slogan potentially racist because it completely ignores the historical struggles of minorities. When you're promising to make America great again, you're basically saying there was a time before now that was better. But Cranston's point is that this fantasy golden age was only golden if you were white.
Our president has a sensibility of bluster, and it's unfortunate because it sort of undermines the responsibility and the duty of those diplomats.
Do you think pride in flag, pride in country has been turned into something rather more complicated now?
It's a part of the movie, but what really is at the heart of the film is the depth of friendship and the relativity that these men have with each other.
The actor went even harder on Trump himself, calling him an absurd person and a ridiculously idiotic person. Cranston even described Trump as an anomaly to presidential politics in America. Coming from the guy who played one of TV's most intimidating characters, those words carry some serious weight. What Cranston did was pretty clever. He transformed MAGA from some patriotic battle cry into what it really is, a problematic dog whistle that glosses over America's complicated racial history. Trump built his entire brand on those 4 simple words, and Cranston just exposed how those 4 words reveal Trump's complete misunderstanding of American history. But here's where Cranston's attack gets really interesting. Instead of just tearing down Trump's rosy view of American history, he dropped a comparison that's making conservatives choke on their freedom fries. While most critics just point fingers at problems, Cranston actually offered a solution that's practically giving MAGA supporters heart palpitations. America should learn from Germany. Yes, you heard that right. The guy who played a meth kingpin thinks America should take notes from how Germany handled its Nazi history, instead of trying to ban books about racism or pretending slavery wasn't that bad.
You know, and I think every democratic country was formed out of protest. I'm trying to think if what I just said was accurate, but I think it is. I don't think that any democratic country was formed without the sense of resistance and protest to oppression. We should be able to listen to protest, not turn a deaf ear to it. Will protect people who have a different ideology than mine to be able to speak their mind. So we owe a great deal to the theory and execution of protest. We should embrace protest, not be afraid of it.
Cranston believes America needs to face its ugly past head on. In his CNN appearance, Cranston specifically said, "I think it's imperative that it's taught that we look at our history much the same. I think that Germany has looked at their history involved in the wars 1 and 2 and embrace it and say this is where we went wrong. This isn't about making white kids feel guilty. It's about acknowledging reality so we can actually move forward. Think about it. You don't see Germans walking around with 'Make Germany Great Again' hats, do you? That's because they've actually confronted their darkest chapters instead of trying to rewrite them with a Sharpie. Germany doesn't ban discussions about Nazism. They make sure every student learns exactly how it happened so it never happens again." Meanwhile, in America, we've got states literally trying to outlaw teaching critical race theory because it might make some people uncomfortable. Cranston's basically saying what most therapists would tell you: you can't fix a problem until you admit you have one. It's like an alcoholic trying to get sober while insisting they never had a drinking problem. The comparison between America's approach to racism and Germany's approach to its Nazi past isn't just provocative, it's actually brilliant. One country faced its demons and built a stronger democracy. The other is having Twitter meltdowns over whether slavery should be taught as a workforce development program. Yes, that was a real textbook proposal. Cranston's solution isn't about hating America, it's actually about making it truly better by being honest about where we've been. It's the difference between slapping a "Great Again" bumper sticker on a car with engine problems versus actually fixing the engine. Cranston really nailed Trump's essence by calling him a tragic comic Shakespearean character in American history. Think about it. The guy struts around like he's King Lear, but ends up being more like the court jester. His massive ego has basically turned him into America's biggest punchline rather than the hero he desperately wants to be in his own mind movie. And we all know what's coming next, right? The classic Trump Twitter tantrum, or these days, his Truth Social meltdown. Whenever celebrities criticize him, Donnie's go-to move is firing off angry posts calling them losers or sad. It's like his only defense mechanism is a 4th grade insult generator. So when someone like Cranston, who brought complex characters like Walter White to life, calls out your one-dimensional worldview, maybe it's time to put down the phone and actually listen for once. But we know Trump won't. His narcissism would never allow it.